Warning, this podcast contains mature content, including scenes or descriptions of graphic violence, sexuality, and psychological trauma. Listener discretion is advised.
The Rancor's Brothel presents Impossible Landscapes. A Delta Green campaign by Dennis Detweiler.
We got complimented on the internet, by the way, from some random person who says that they love our tangents. I said, you don't have any idea how many f***ing tangents get cut out of this goddamn show.
Thank you, random person.
Can't wait for the director's cut.
There's a whole thing about Battlestar Galactica that I just cut right out of an episode.
There's a lot of stuff. There was stuff I cut out of Trudvang the other day. It was good lengthy talk.
I was hoping to piss Daniel off and start a tangent, but it didn't work.
You guys got a
I forgot.
task ahead of you.
I forgot what I mistook it for. So
you said, "Yeah, I've not seen Battlestar Galactica." Yeah, you made me watch the movie. I said, "I don't think there is a movie." Or we're arguing about a Battlestar Galactica movie. And you're like, "Yeah, Battlestar Galactica, that one with the big Stargate in it."
I was thinking of
Stargate.
I didn't mean Stargate.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you can be at the Gateway Bridges restaurant if you want. You had talked about leaving. You were doing some research. I believe Lucas located a missing person from 1995 named Abigail Wright. But I have a question before we start. Who's strapped?
I am.
Yes, Florida man, I knew you were. Anyone else?
Yes.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take a gun on a flight in 2015?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I didn't know. I don't know those rules. Like, can you at all transport a firearm? Like, even like checking it or whatever?
Yeah, I'm sure you probably can. Depends on what you're carrying. What would you be taking?
It'd just be like a handgun.
Okay.
It's an entire rocket launcher.
A good old rocket launcher.
Gotta lonk it.
Google it, but I'm pretty sure you could on. I assume you could in checked luggage. I'm just curious as to what you're doing. Are you presently strapped?
Yes.
I knew you would be,
It's gonna
Florida
be a
man.
fucking firefight in the Gateway Bridges.
I just like to point out that the Facebook chat, I said, "Hey, what do you guys want to do?" And Lucas literally said, "Shoot the place up." So I'm just deciding where the guns are now.
Being facetious, kind of.
I mean, would you let me have a gun from my former? It wouldn't be on me right now, but
I would assume if it was issued, you would have a harder time keeping it.
It's not all that's in my bag.
I made Lucas make some rolls to keep stuff from his job, as I recall.
And I succeeded in those roles.
that's what I'm wondering. Like, as a former agent, like I assume they would let you at least keep some of it, but I mean, I could be wrong.
It's a souvenir.
I got some stuff in my
9mm.
go bag that you guys haven't seen.
I mean, if
when you retire from the police department, they let you keep the riot shield. When you
You get one handful of confiscated goods. Get to reach in there.
cocaine. No, I don't imagine anything government issued is probably you are supposed to return to the government.
Can also be worn under clothing and requires a roll for you to see it.
well, what do you want me to roll to see if I have a firearm then?
I mean, you could be a gun owner. You could just own a gun.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what I'm asking.
I figured my guy would own a typical gun. I mean, I'll look it up, but I mean,
Okay.
he wouldn't actively carry it on him.
Okay. So you are a gun owner. Okay.
I will look.
I mean,
one up.
I didn't spend, because of the Facebook message, 40 minutes today researching the gun laws of Massachusetts, which are fairly stringent, in case anyone wants to know. So we'll keep that in mind.
His is a demon hunting gun.
Ooh.
So anyway.
I do not have a...
You did not strike me as a gun-toting
No.
YouTuber.
No.
How do you know? You don't know what's on his YouTube channel. Maybe he's a gun activist on his YouTube.
I have a second channel where I shoot watermelons.
Maybe he appears on Chicks on the Right. Who knows? You don't know.
I'm gonna be the next gun girl.
So, what do you want to do? Gateway Bridges. I'll say you're basically either
I would
at the bar
probably
now.
I would probably own a handheld flamethrower. I would think. No, I'm just kidding. That just sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, the Force let me keep this one.
You good?
Yeah, I'm just Googling some guns.
Good.
Using Cody's internet.
Getting Grady put on a list.
I mean, there's a whole thing, and none of you. I mean, obviously, it's not. It's laying on the counter. I have a letter from ATF upstairs where I am now licensed to possess explosives. So, I mean, whatever.
Huh.
It's weird.
I thought so too, so I called ATF about it. It was a whole thing. Last couple days, it's been exciting. Proof that Langley listens to this podcast.
Oh God.
Not Langley. Langley would be the CIA. They wouldn't care. Probably is it Quantico?
Quantico's FBI.
Yeah. The Hoover Building. We do get downloads in Virginia, in case anybody wants to know.
Oh no.
I'm sure they enjoy our tangents too. Maybe that's why that person was random and anonymous.
Could be. I hope so. I hope that the FBI agents who listen to this bull
are
really
laughing at
enjoy
us
it.
because we have no idea what FBI agents do.
We have actually recorded some episodes that will probably never see the light of day, but with some folks who do government military work, and they were very enlightening when we were playing a Delta Green scenario. I learned a lot. He was like, yeah, so, and he went on a tangent. He's like, if you ever release that, you have to cut that part out because that part is not really supposed to be known to the general public. I'm like, cool. Shout outs.
Now they're just digging into the computer for that audio while we sit here.
It could be.
Just see a folder pop up over there.
Wait a minute.
Just starts going on its own. All right, let them do their thing.
Anyway, Gateway Bridges. It's the evening of, I believe, September 1st. So
yep.
Are you staying in the Gateway Bridges restaurant? Are you wanting to go somewhere, do something? Exeter, as he self-identified, left already. If you looked, he hopped back in his, I forget what it was. I think it was like a
Ford Escape.
Thank you.
He escaped.
He did. And he's gone. So the four of you are there doing some internet research. Obviously, you had some time. The lady will come back with the drinks. Technically, you have the room for a little while. You could hang out. You could do whatever you want.
Where to?
Well, it was late at night, right? Yeah, or it was getting
not
later.
late, but
Later afternoonish. I mean, we still have to make a drive back to.
If it's past 5, my day is over.
Well, I mean, I guess we don't have to drive back. We can probably stay somewhere elsewhere, but
I mean, you didn't live that far away. It was like an hour drive.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so
Well, I say we still got to make the drive back, so it's just.
it's not bad though.
Do we want to do a drive by the Dorchester House? Just scope it and then head back?
it's not necessarily on the way, but it's not out of the way horribly either.
Yeah, we can drive by. I don't see why not. We don't have anything better else to do with the rest of the evening, I think, but
I don't see a reason to. Just a nut house.
yeah, scope it out though, man. You don't know what they got there.
Crazies.
It is 2015, so you could literally Google the place if you wanted to.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, is there any other information we want to get or try to get that we could get tonight before we go in earnest to the Dorchester House?
I mean, we could try Googling the names of the missing.
Okay.
But
Nothing, I mean, Googling the names of the missing, nothing comes up easily. I mean, if you want to spend some time, maybe make a roll if you have an applicable skill, you could. But at least it's not like five nutters missing, you know what I mean?
I thought it was 4.
Or 4, excuse me.
Oh, God.
It's not like 4 nutters missing from blah, blah, blah.
Let's go check out the asylum.
Okay.
We're supposed to meet up with the doctor there, right?
Yeah.
Lucas has forgotten his name.
I mean,
didn't take notes last
Dallin.
session, so
Dallin.
Chances are we're not going to be able to get in tonight, though, right?
No.
call ahead, see if he's there. Try to get in a late appointment.
There's no way.
There's no way to make a phone call.
It's 8:00. They're not going to make an appointment for us to meet tonight.
Yeah. And if we go, we need information. We're kind of screwed because everything's closed. So it probably wouldn't make sense to wait in the morning.
Okay.
Do any of you have contacts that could get us information on Barbas or maybe more classified stuff about this disappearance? Did you tap any of your connections?
I've already talked to a former partner of mine, and he couldn't get me information on Marbus. But now that we know that it's going to be about Abigail Wright, I might be able to ring him up and see if he.
Can we just choose a name, guys? Is it Marbus or Barbas?
Barbas.
Yes.
It literally goes by both.
Barbas is his name. Marbus is what was used to make the reservation.
Okay.
It's an alias.
His name is Dr. Elias Barbas. He introduced himself to you as Exeter.
I'm just saying the demon also goes by both names. So
Exeter has nothing to do with your demonology?
I think Exeter is just a.
It was a location in Britain, I think.
Well, I mean, an exeter, like, if you're an exeter of a will, you are the person who is in charge of making sure that the will is carried out. Like, you're the...
It's the name of a street
An
I used to live
executor,
on.
not an exeter, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, executor. You're right.
Exeter is a historic city in Devon, England.
Devon.
Devon.
Devon
Sorry.
sounds sexier, though.
Devon does sound way sexier than Devon.
I'm from Devon.
But yeah, I'm probably not going to call him tonight though, because I mean he's probably. I mean,
So what time is it? Because I think we feel it's anywhere from 5 o'clock to
No,
midnight.
the meeting was at 8, so it's...
Correct.
Okay,
The meeting
so
was
it's-
at
We
8.
started slightly before 8, so it's some time after...
8:30,
It's
8:45.
Correct.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, if you want to look into Barbas, you can. Is there a particular thing that you're trying to do? So, I mean, and one of the things we need to establish in this game is, and I talked about it in the first session, this is a significantly more narrative than a lot of the RPGs that we play. Just the way that, I think it's just the way if you look at, like, Census Sleight of Hand Man, I really like that's the way that Detweiler does it. So if you come up with clever ideas and they're in the book, you may not even have to roll. It's just a question of how you're going about it. You know, you Googled around, you found a LinkedIn. You know what I mean? If you're trying to use, say, bureaucracy because you want to talk to these folks, or if you're trying to use computer science to hack something or whatever, you just need to explain kind of what you're doing, and then I'll see what we can do in terms of that. But you guys have to kind of push the narrative of your ideas, if that makes sense.
yeah, there's really nothing special that I want to do tonight, so I don't know if we're. Although the asylum was in, well, I guess, I mean, if the asylum's in the city we're in now, there's really probably no point of driving back and then driving an hour back again in the morning. Or whenever we're going to do it.
It is Boston, so I mean, it's in the city that you are, but
Traffic.
it is a city.
I will, because I think I made that. Didn't I make a computer science roll for that? When
No.
I found Abigail's info? It's been 2 weeks. I don't remember if I made a roll for that. I'm pretty sure I did.
We're looking into Abigail Wright.
I want to actually look into other disappearances at around the same time in the same area.
As Abigail Wright?
Yes.
Computer science roll.
That is a fail.
I mean, looking up missing persons information from New York City in 1995, it's finding a needle in a pile of needles. Like, yeah, 12 people in one of the largest cities in the world went missing that same day. You can find connections in terms of geography, in terms of age, in terms of victimology. Like, it's not... You're not finding anything that is directly connected, obviously. Is that would be an incredibly tall task.
It's fair.
We could get a hotel room.
I think that's considered a conventional expense, so I mean, you all have enough money to get a hotel room if you want.
Yeah.
Where would you like to get a hotel room? Somewhere specific?
And closest to the asylum without...
The Boston Market Hotel.
Continental breakfast.
I mean, if you hurry, you're probably...
If it doesn't have a waffle maker, I'm not staying.
If
Fair.
the in 2015 were the Sox in the playoffs, they probably weren't. I was just say you probably catch a game at Fenway if you hurried.
I don't remember.
No, it is August, isn't it? Late August.
September 1. So the question is whether or not they were in the playoffs and whether or not they would.
Oh yeah, it is
September 1st.
September now. Thought it was late
It
August.
still would have been maybe the last couple games of the season.
Yeah,
I got a notification earlier if they went live for practice.
yeah. Pitchers and catchers was yesterday. So yeah, no, you can find a place. You can stay in the city if you'd like.
How long are we getting a hotel for?
The night?
I don't know that any of you have clothes. You'll be wearing the same you wore today, but I don't know that that matters to you.
I'm fine with it.
So, yeah, we can pass the night if there's nothing else you guys would like to do.
Yeah, pass the night.
Yep.
Gonna.
The night passes uneventfully. You wake up the next day. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna give Parker a call.
Luck roll.
Luck roll. He's at
See
work.
if you know how to
it's
use a
Sunday,
phone.
isn't it?
No, it's Monday now, but
Oh.
you did piss him off the last time you called him.
I didn't piss him off. I was just being an inconvenience.
You rolled a critical failure.
Oof.
Over or under on your luck roll?
You want me to call it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say over.
What'd you roll?
82.
Okay. Parker will answer. What the do you want?
Hey, it's Roddrick again.
Yeah, I know.
I need
Caller ID is a thing.
I need to call, or I need to call in another favor if you can.
Of course
help
you
me
do.
out.
You realize you don't work for the CID anymore, right?
I realize that.
What do you want?
I got this little side gig I'm working on. And I'm looking into a missing person case.
Isn't that what got you in trouble in the first place?
Well, We're not going to go into that right now, okay? So let's
What do you want?
anything you could tell me about Abigail Wright went missing in 1995.
You hear a thud on the other end of the line as if he's banging the receiver on his forehead. You want a cold case that's 20 years old.
I do. I know it's a lot to ask, but I figured if anybody could pull up the information, it's you. This was always your strong suit, not mine.
I mean, yeah, maybe I'll have some time. 20 years. You realize the likelihood after a year of finding any useful information, let alone 2 decades.
Yeah, I'm aware. I just don't have much to go off public records. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, like digitized records from 1995 are going to be incredibly hard to find. Do we have a location? Do you have a date? Anything that would be, useful?
I do. Gonna lean over and
ask another player who took notes.
Have it written down. I know it's the McAllister building in Manhattan.
I know what you guys have, so you don't have to dictate it.
June
to me,
4th,
wise.
1995.
Yeah. It's not like I didn't already investigate this case once in a previous life.
You should have done a better job.
Hey, he survived.
I did the best I could,
Kinda.
I think. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of living. And not shooting Troy, which you tried to get me to do multiple times.
Probably would have been better off.
Maybe.
Hey, no. I met the king, okay?
Oh, yeah. Were you dressed for that occasion?
Sure.
So, I'll look into it. Let me see what I can figure out. Don't expect a call anytime soon, though.
That's fine. Anything you can find, I appreciate.
A little busy. He hangs up the phone. Anybody else?
How'd that go?
He said he'll get back to me. That's about the best I can give you.
I'll call for Dallin and set an appointment for us to meet.
You hear it ring a couple of times, and then it clicks as if it's been redirected. Hello, Dorchester House. This is Gail. How can I help you?
Hi, Gail. Yes, may I speak to Dr. Dallin, please?
I'm sorry, Dr. Dallin isn't quite in yet this morning. He'll be in shortly. What can I do for you?
We're just wanting to set up a meeting with him today, if possible.
Sure. Is he expecting you?
Yes.
Okay. Who should I say is calling?
What's my last name? Inez de Leon.
Inez de Leon. So, do you have a number I can call you back at, Inez?
Yes, I'll give her a number.
Sure. I'll talk to Dr. Dallin. But the Dorchester House is a pretty open facility, so if he's expecting you, you can go ahead and show up. We actually open for visiting hours at 10 o'clock, so he should be able to see you at 10:30 if you're available.
Sounds good.
All right. I'll give you a call back when he comes in, but I don't think that would be a problem.
Okay.
All right. Have a good morning.
Thanks, you too.
You said that the disappearance was June 6th?
4th.
So yeah, you've got a couple of hours. If there's anything you want to do. Inez will get a phone call, say 45 minutes later. Say, yes, Dr. Dallin should be available and would be happy to speak with you.
Excellent. We'll be there.
We'll see you at 10:30. For the ones who have guns, when I was saying, are you strapped? Are you open carrying?
Is it legal in Massachusetts?
It's a great question.
I would not have been at the restaurant. I don't know that. I would not, I guess.
I mean,
I would suppose I would look up those laws. So
Sure, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Also, my gun's at home, so.
No, I know. Daniel, roll was it int? Roll an int roll. Int by 5.
I mean, his character would know, right? He lives in Mass.
Maybe.
close to it.
Or should know.
It's a pass. 24 under 80.
I'll save you the Google roll. Massachusetts has some of the strictest laws on people from outside the state bringing in guns, to the fact that they will force you to get a license in the state. So if you come to hunt in the state, they will force you to get a temporary license issued by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
I guess I would have told you guys that on your arrival at my house, so you're not just carrying a gun on your side that everyone can see and get questioned for.
But essentially, from my very basic Google research of, say, 30 minutes during lunch today from work, basically, unless you're traveling through the state with an unloaded gun where the ammo is separated and locked up separately from the gun, a Massachusetts law officer is likely to confiscate that, assuming that you are carrying it illegally. Unless the laws of the state that you are in are considered to be just as strict as the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. FYI, Florida's not going to be on that list.
Fair.
California, Maybe. But if you'd like to Google, they actually have 2 separate licenses with multiple degrees. It was really interesting to read. If I'd really like to Dick Daniel, I could ask him which one of the 2 licenses he has.
The good one.
California looks to be just as loose as Florida.
I was kind of thinking that it might. So essentially, they could look at it and say,
Oh, wait, it says open carry is prohibited.
In
California and Florida.
I wonder if it's a state law. Anyway, so just curious on whether or not any of you are physically strapped or if you're concealing your gun and have it on
Concealed
you.
carry.
Cool. Excellent. Sweet. Anything you'd like to do up until going to the Dorchester House?
There's also a combat knife in my boot.
I am going to access LexisNexis through my phone
Sure.
and see if there are any articles, any legal briefs concerning the Dorchester House.
Legal briefs?
Yeah, like was it involved in a lawsuit at any point? Was
No.
there? Okay.
If you're looking at LexisNexis and specifically looking at law stuff, you could probably find some stuff on the origins, maybe. That's a little bit of a legal thing.
Or news articles as well.
I mean, Flynn, a simple Google search, the Dorchester House homepage, it gives you homepage and mission statement. Dorchester is a fully accredited psychiatric facility focusing on the treatment of violent mental illness. It focuses on patients in high-risk groups, such as military vets, medical field, law enforcement, fire and rescue. Founded in 1989 by Dr. Richard Dallin with a grant from the St. Dymphna Foundation. It is self-funded and its reputation appears to be sterling.
Well, according to their website, they're not going to say if there's anything fucky.
Who'd you say it was founded by again?
Dallin.
Dr. Richard Dallin, who you're going to meet in 1989.
Oh, okay. I was let's say.
It was a grant from the St. Dymphna Foundation.
Will you spell that,
Lesser
please?
Saints.
I think that's how you spell it.
Is it not in the? It's not in your.
No, it's just if I spell
Reading?
it out, you're gonna say it asked me to repeat myself 17 times, so I figured I'd write it down. DYMPHNA. Okay, that's what I wrote.
I'll also do a quick search for the St. Dymphna Foundation. See if there are any names behind that or board members.
Saint Dymphna was a female patron saint of runaways, mental disorders, neurological disorders, survivors of incest, survivors of sexual assault, depression, anxiety, sleep disorders. Seems kind of apropos for this particular hospital.
Man, I love searching a PDF. I just flipped like 50 pages to find something else. You find no current information, Flynn.
Okay.
Like, there isn't a website, there isn't anything.
No LexisNexis. Nothing.
Negative.
Huh.
It is going to take some time and some additional research if you'd like to dig. Like, a quick Google search is not
Yeah.
It's not like St. Jude where all of a sudden, ads and everything pop up for St. Dymphna. There is nothing popping up at all.
Okay. Could I tap one of my my bonds?
When you look in the real book about actually using bonds, theoretically, who would you like to attempt to contact?
The kind of like the co-producer of the podcast who does a lot of the research.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Liam.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty good at the research thing and finding new avenues and digging and
Look
some
and see.
connections.
Look in the rule book and see if there's anything about using bonds in that fashion. Bonds are early in the book, like page 30 or 40, maybe.
Liam?
Look and see if you can use them in that fashion. I don't mind you guys contacting and trying to use bonds in that way, but it feels like it should cost you something, and I'm not sure what that would be. If there is a rule, I want to use it. If not, we'll figure something out. What else would you fellas like to do over breakfast? The Sox highlights, I'm assuming, from that game are pretty terrible.
I mean, they lost 3-1.
That's not that bad. No. I mean, still a loss to the Yankees, which is literally... there are 29 perfectly great baseball teams out there to support. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, I know. So why would you choose the one?
Eat a dick. You support a mostly beautiful organization, Troy. Now that they got rid of the homophobe that is the announcer, you're fine.
It seems mostly bonds deal with
It's usually
sanity.
just sanity.
Recovery.
Yeah, just say, I don't know that that you can use bonds in that fashion.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was thinking like bureaucracy.
I mean,
but like
in general, it's just a contact. less of a bond. It's somebody you can contact.
Because I'm new with the program, I don't have many contacts there,
Sure.
but I have worked with other people who've done research and dug things
All right,
up.
Let's do this then. Let's just see how this plays. I don't know that I'm gonna love doing this. Let's take your bond score by 5
Okay.
and see if you can roll under that. So
Yes.
it's essentially making a what
Pass.
what is it? It's a
60.
charisma
Charisma
save.
roll.
Yeah, essentially you're making a charisma roll, and then let's just do it with that for right now because it's gonna go down obviously. Yeah, we'll do that. So he'll look into it for you. I'll make up some stats for him. I'll roll a random die roll and we'll see what he can find out.
Right on.
I pick up the brick phone. And
Sure.
hit star 616.
All right.
Gonna look at him with weird judgment, assuming I see him do it.
It's of the people that were going to touch the shiny, Troy is usually the one who bitches about everyone else touching the shiny, so I love it.
Because Daniel's always the one that touches the shiny.
I mean, Flynn
always.
has no problem touching the shiny. I love Flynn for touching the shiny.
I don't mind people touching the shiny. It's just how quickly some people want to get to it. I'm like, no, let's.
In this case,
easy.
we have so many leads, I didn't think we needed to touch the shiny.
Not yet,
It's
anyways.
so shiny.
It's a dirty phone.
The Sear Ink phone, I believe is, I think I talked about it.
So like SEAR, like Sears?
SEERE. You turn on the phone, it boots with a 3-tone beep, so boop, boop, boop. And then you dial, you hear... And the line opens with a lot of static, a lot of...
Down with the sickness.
And you just hear a very indistinct kind of deep male voice on the other side say, yes.
Can you get us some license to carry here without too much trouble?
Static.
He's drinking a milkshake and he's getting towards the bottom.
I hate that sound. It's actually just a bong rolling.
And after an uncomfortable period of like maybe 15, 20 seconds where you almost are getting ready to say it again, you hear, it is done. And the phone hangs up.
This is the way.
Was that a voice that he would have recognized?
Sounds like a cross between, say...
A demon and what?
Crinkly plastic.
No, I'm just trying to think. I can't think of the guy's name. The deep sounding guy who does voices on Family Guy and stuff. He's a comedian.
Oh, isn't his name Mike Brown or something?
I don't know. I can see him. He's big, tall, like Jack dude. And he's always like, yeah, let's do it. It kind of sounds a little bit like that in James Earl Jones. Like it's a very bassy. And that's
Wait,
it.
the guy who played Putty on Seinfeld?
The guy that does Joe's voice? Is that what you're talking
I think, yeah. Who does Joe's voice? What's that
That's
guy's
Patrick
name?
Warburton.
about? Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Spoon!
It's a Patrick Warburton, James Earl Jones connection from the 1980s.
I mean, that's a pretty
Transatlantic.
That's a pretty distinct voice. Did Marbus sound like that? I mean,
No, it does not sound like Marbus.
Okay.
Whose name isn't Marbus.
I want to keep calling him Marbus.
So, it is done. The phone hangs up.
Okay, well, that's not that helpful still.
You ordering a pizza over there?
No, I figured instead of trying to go to the proper authorities to get licenses to carry, Florida man, I figured I would try to get a connection to that. So
Are they digital?
they said it was done, so I don't know what that means, but
I checked my email.
You don't see anything in your email.
Didn't work out.
Start shooting into the air and see if anyone's bothered by it.
And then when you get arrested, see what happens. Be like, man, I got
How
my
do we
license.
acquire-
The voice
how
on
do
the
we
big
acquire
phone
said
told me it
license?
was
that's a good
okay.
question. I don't know. They hung up. They said it's done, and then hung up. So
I mean, obviously, they're probably not instant. It's probably going to get delivered to...
All right, I Google how to acquire a license in the state.
As Troy probably also looked, it is a lengthy process. It takes some time.
Not according to that phone call.
Well, yeah, but he can't just give it to you instantaneously. Like,
I gave him the fax number.
it's probably going to get delivered somewhere, sometime. Hopefully not to your houses.
Someone just opened a creaky door somewhere.
Weird.
It was the kitchen door for the restaurant we're in.
Anything else?
Chef was...
Flynn, you could also find out some very general information about Dorchester House since you're on the website, I guess.
Jesus.
Damn.
Just making
throwing
on
shit
for the show.
Hey, can we give me some water? As long as there's water in it too.
He likes the taste. Lucas is
Sterile.
Lucas is trashed off of one craft mead.
Great.
I mean, he is small.
One craft mead.
That was very, very specific.
One craft mead.
Dorchester House appears to be a large 3-story building, Flynn. Seems to be a 17,000 square foot facility. And again, it seems to be sort of a private hospital for psychosis, PTSD, blah, blah, blah. It's the kind of place that doesn't put its prices online, so you get the sense that this is upper level care. This is expensive as hell.
And how long has it been open for?
Since 89, so
89.
Okay. I'm going to just, while we're Googling it, I'm also going to Google while we're eating breakfast, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Brunch or no, because we're gonna be there at 10 a.m. so it won't be brunch hour, I guess.
It's a hard breakfast.
You're having pancakes at Denny's.
Moon's over my hammy.
There was a scene
pancakes.
made because there was no waffle maker, and one of us yelled, "We're going to
Maybe
Denny's."
2 of you yelled.
let's go to Lenny's.
I want to look for any other incidents that may have happened at this place that's beyond your usual occurrences. Like,
everything that you can find about the Dorchester House is that it is an exemplary establishment.
is there, if I Google about these missing patients, does anything pop up?
Negative.
Okay, yeah, so that's one of you guys was looking into that, right? Because
Yeah, I mean, I'd say looking up for their missingness, but just literally the names, like who these people are. Like, do they have Facebook profiles, Twitter handles?
Nothing that you can tell.
so then it seems like they definitely keep things hush hush there. So maybe
It is an odd looking building, Flynn, as you see some pictures of it. It's kind of shaped like an E. It's 3 stories. It's not exactly a stereotypical hospital looking type facility. It definitely looks like it was probably converted from something else.
shaped
So
like
does
an
it
E
have like the
vertically or
long, the long side of the E facing out front
That is
entrance,
a
and then like
very-
3 wings?
No, I think that the front would be the 3 points, and then the wing is in the back.
Okay,
From what you could, again, surmise from
Yeah.
internet.
interesting.
I mean, if you Google Maps it, it is surrounded by a high brick fence on all sides. It's got the anti-burglary, like, the very decorative, like, reverse hooks that if you try and climb over are going to stab the out of you. It's got that kind of anti-climbing software. There is a gatehouse that appears to be guarded. But from what you can see from satellite imagery and stuff, it is shaped like an E with a single long drive. It looks like there's probably a back entrance for laundry or deliveries or whatever. But otherwise, it is a very secluded, fence all the way around, secure facility.
Sweet.
doesn't seem to be a real place.
No, I don't think Dorchester House is a real place in real life.
How much like an E does this building look?
I mean, exactly like an E.
Okay.
It's got what you would kind of call 3 wings with a central connecting bit. So,
Okay.
like, if you Google Maps it, it literally looks like an E. It doesn't really give me a map, so I'm not sharing any sort of map with you. I'm kind of making it up as I go along a little bit. But I mean,
you said like an E, so I didn't know if it was like an artistic E, if it was
No,
really
no,
like a block
it-
E.
A lowercase e, a capital E.
It's just this.
I mean, they said that it was made. It looked like it was made from something else. So,
I'm just trying to rack my head if there were any.
and the
peculiar-
front of it is the 3 points.
yes.
Okay.
It has a tall mushroom in the front.
Oh, it's getting double teamed.
Yeah, I know.
That's the hospital.
So it
It's a
looks like
Dorchester House. We're gonna it from both sides.
We got to go add this to the map, the whiteboard in the other room now.
Yeah.
Like we have to.
So, I mean, the idea is that there's kind of a central drive with a guardhouse. There's a secure facility in the back that it looks like that's where probably employees park, a small parking lot, maybe a loading dock of some sort. You definitely get the sense that the middle E is kind of the middle arm of the E is probably the reception area, whatever it is. That's the main entrance.
Yeah, the chokey's probably in the back. They can't let people see them torturing the patients in the chokey.
Right. But the overall feel of it is way more high-end school or high-end executive building or something like that. This feels way more like the campus of the Xavier School for Gifted Students kind of thing.
Speaking of, I drove past the Zionsville middle school. Just that thing looks like what you're describing almost. It looks like a way nicer school than it should be some random middle school of a small town in Indiana.
Yeah. No, if you're talking about the one over here, no, it's that's the shitty one. The really nice one's over here. It does look really nice though. It's got like the walking path and like the 4 football fields and yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, kind of a Google Maps view. Like I said, brick fence all the way around the property, but you get the sense it's well manicured, but it doesn't feel medical facility-ish. It definitely feels probably like it was converted from something else, or it's not your typical hospital. It's not your typical place. So, anything else you want to do, or do you want to go straight to the Dorchester House? You don't have much time.
Yeah, I mean, we have an appointment.
Yeah.
But it's up to you.
No, I think I'm ready. I got everything that I needed. Or everything that I was going to try to look up anyways.
You may want to have your pencils ready in case any of this is important. Dorchester House is a 17,000 square foot, 3-story E-shaped building located in the Clam Point neighborhood of Boston, next to Interstate 93, west of the Dorchester Shores Reservation, a dog park that was once a landfill. The building is surrounded by an attractive wrought iron fence with inverted hooks, cameras, etc. You drive up on a long driveway with a guardhouse. You do see that it is manned by 2 security guards. As soon as you pull up, you see an individual in a guard uniform, kind of a service pistol on the hip kind of thing. Walks out, stops your car. Good morning, folks. What can I do for you?
I assume I drove, and I would probably just tell him we have reservations for, Inez, right? Inez?
Odd phrasing there.
Inez?
1 moment, please.
What are your appetizers?
Whatever, we have a meeting. Whatever.
We reserved 4 beds.
4 beds. I believe we had bunks in one. What are the hours for your fitness facilities?
And there's a moment where they go back.
There's not a waffle maker. I'm not staying here.
They go back. They have a moment. They talk. They come back out. And it says, you see he opens, he hits the button. The fence gets rolled back. The arm gets, cranked up, whatever it is. And they wave you on in.
I think I meant to say we have a reserve meeting instead I just said reservations. Whatever. Didn't you say the lady said this was a pretty open place? That doesn't seem pretty open to me.
As we drive past, I'm going to kind of look into the guardhouse and just see if I notice anything.
He just wants to size them up.
Especially, if there are 4 people who escaped, good job, guards.
I mean, it looks like a relatively small building. You can get, you see there are definitely some camera monitors. There's a phone, there's a desk, nothing incredibly out of the ordinary. But you do get the sense that this place is highly monitored.
Doing a great job.
Let me see something real quick.
Because they didn't escape through normal means. They summoned one of the 72 demons, helped him escape. Maybe it was Haster himself.
No one tell Roddrick that he's not coming with us when we leave.
We're going to leave you in the car.
You say that now.
We'll crack a window.
You say that now.
Put a little sign that says, "Don't worry, AC's on. He loves it."
Please don't feed.
When you need my gold and mercury to banish a demon, don't come running to me.
Did you ever get it?
Yeah. I did.
Came in the mail.
It cost me 2 of my bonds with my grandfather.
It's a monthly subscription.
Yeah, I forgot.
Flynn.
You just
Mercury
made me
overnight.
try, Roddrick.
Flynn, roll me a D100 roll.
You can't like me. 22.
Okay, a critical success.
Oh yes.
Yep.
So you spot not only, and again, Sam has some backgrounds in videography and other such things. Not only are you seeing extensive cameras, both obvious and hidden, there are also motion sensors on the ground. You don't think you could walk on the open grounds of this place more than a few feet without somebody somewhere seeing you or knowing you're there. This is government level security type stuff. This is Fort Knox type shit. And you notice that on the drive-in.
I'll relay that to the group.
I will have to stash my gun under the seat or something then.
Not in my car, you're not.
Seem a little
It's fine.
overkill.
Not
Well,
really.
If you have 4 people escape, then maybe it's
Right? Was
underkill.
it recent, or did they just add extra security measures because 4 went missing?
Oh, that's a good question. Does it look like it was recently installed, or
You get the sense that this is a well thought out grid. Like
Okay.
this was intentional. This has been in place for 10 years or more.
Okay.
Like I said,
they're supposedly housing, yes, like potentially violent people, but still seems a little excessive.
I mean, maybe, but with as fancy as the building itself it looks, and probably how fancy the institute is,
Think about the clientele. If it's a lot of ex-police, ex-military, they may be better at escaping.
How I look at it is they probably had the money, so they decided to use it for everything, literally. No spare, no expenses.
It's a non-profit, so they got
Exactly.
to spend everything on salaries and equipment.
And they pocket the rest, just like every other non-profit,
Susan G. Komen, you bitch.
Yep. I'm also looking at you, NFL.
No fun league.
You do see, kind of like you would expect, the doors, the exterior doors that you can see on the ends of the E's, while they do appear to be like fire or emergency escape exits, they do appear to be very solid reinforced steel doors. They look like, just looking at them, they look like they have key locks, sort of the magnetized key cards could be swiped to open the doors kind of thing. All the windows are reinforced. You've got steel mesh on the outside or steel bars that have been, adhered so no one could jump out of the windows or break the windows and get out easily.
I think we can all agree escape from here is highly unlikely, so wherever these people went is not through a front door.
That's not entirely true, but we will just wait till we talk to the good doctor, I guess.
It's very obvious that the middle, the way that the parking lot is oriented and everything else, it's very obvious that the middle branch of the E is where you're supposed to go. It has windows on the door. It looks a little bit more formal. It's still reinforced steel and safety glass, but it does look more like an entry door to a hospital or another government building or something like that.
What did the other windows look like?
It's a 3-story building, so all the windows all the way up are barred or
Got it, okay.
Everything else.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's what I assumed, but
Safety glass, et cetera, et cetera.
all right, let's head
Let's
in.
roll.
As you step into Dorchester House, it's got a unique layout. The first thing that you see are school lockers lining the arm left and right. Based on the tile on the floor and the tile on the ceiling, you get the sense that this probably used to be a school. You do see that there is a small reception desk where you see a blonde woman, probably late 30s, early 40s, sitting at a reception desk. I will add a file to the drive because you guys wanted to see more and more of his stuff. And he does some great portraits, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, fantastic.
The woman is in scrubs, blonde, decently attractive woman. She sort of smiles in a very administrative pleasantry welcome. Says, hello, my name is Gail Houston. Welcome to the Dorchester House. She kind of looks over at Troy's character. Miss DeLeon, I believe we spoke on the phone?
Yes, we have reservations with Dr. Dallin.
Reservations, I see. Yes. No, he's in his office. So what'd you do with your gun, Lucas?
I stashed it under the seat.
Troy, where's your gun?
I would not have brought mine.
Excuse me, I hate to ask, but do any of you have... Dr. Dallin informed me a little bit of why you're here. Do any of you have... I apologize, it's strange. Do any of you have ballpoint ink pens or perhaps firearms or any other sharp objects on you?
I probably have a pen.
I reach in my boot and hand her my combat knife.
Like these.
As long as I can get this back on the way out.
No, of course, that's not quite what I
Forgot
expected.
that was in there.
Oop.
Are you carrying any guns into the facility?
Old habits. No. Not in the facility, no.
Only these guns.
Hey.
You want some tickets? It's a show.
I'll tell her that I have some brass knuckles on me, but that's it.
Not a sharp object, unless they have spikes on them.
They don't. No, they're just typical brass knuckles.
Just the elder side.
I gotta stay protected from the elder evils,
Pain and gain written on the brass knuckles.
We spar.
She will take she'll literally take ballpoint ink pens and stuff. She's got little lockers kind of behind the desk, and she, locker 1 is where the combat knife goes. Locker 2 is where the ballpoint pen goes. She's like, I apologize. We obviously are a very strict facility in terms of anything that a patient could use to harm themselves or others. And she basically pulls off these sort of magnetic key cards, kind of like what you would see at a hotel or anything else. They've got little clips on them, so you could clip them to, say, your lapel or to your belt or something like that.
Like skating rink lockers.
Yeah. And she hastily writes, Miss DeLeon. She kind of writes Inez on it and hands it to you, sir.
Do they not have metal detectors when you walk through here?
No.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to leave things concealed, you can.
Deacon.
She writes Deacon, and you can see she's clearly matching up the numbers to the lockers that your stuff is in. So you get one. Sir?
I got nothing.
Your name, please.
Oh,
no, that's it. That's it. That's his name.
Roddrick.
Roddrick. And she hands you a badge. Sir.
All lowercase.
Sam.
I thought she was still handing out the keys.
She is. She's writing your names on the keys. So the names will serve as also my name is blah, blah, blah. It also allow you to get your stuff back when you leave.
Oh, okay. That's kind of a weird way to do it, but whatever.
These badges will let you in and out of most places. There are a few secure facilities, nurses stations that you won't be able to access. But I do ask when you're moving from wing to wing, especially if you're on the 3rd floor, please make sure the door shuts completely behind you and does click when it locks to make sure that we are separating patients from areas they're not supposed to go.
Why does the 3rd floor matter?
The 3rd floor is where our most high-risk patients are. 1st floor is pretty common. I guess I can explain it to you. And she says, if you follow me, I can kind of explain it as we walk.
Perfect.
And as you walk down the E, you get the sense that obviously there's this massive central column that runs the length of the building sort of left and right. What looks like what may have been a gymnasium or large space has a little sign that says cafeteria is kind of in the middle right behind her. This sort of central part of the building serves as the administrative wing. I think she points to the right, I believe. Essentially, men's dorm is one side and women's dorm is the other. Both patients on the 1st floor and the 2nd floor take meals in the cafeteria here. The 3rd floor are our most at-risk patients, and those at-risk patients typically tend to eat on their floor and are completely isolated within their own dorms. So those are the ones that, due to for their own safety and for the safety of others, are not allowed to mingle with everyone else. The 2nd floor are our moderate risk patients, and then our 1st floor are the ones who are hopefully going to be discharged soon to go home. And as you go up, she takes you to kind of a central stairway, and you begin to move up. You can see doctors, or at least people in scrubs, moving back and forth. You can see patients moving back and forth. But otherwise, she's going to take you up the stairs to the 3rd floor. Are there any questions I can answer for you folks? Again, please do make sure if you're moving through doors. I would assume that someone will be guiding you throughout, but if you do happen to go somewhere, some of the bathrooms even are locked with these magnetic cards, so just please be careful. It's unusual, but it's for the safety of both yourselves and the patients.
Dr. Dallon's office on the 3rd floor?
Yes. Almost all of the administrative buildings, or almost all the administrative offices are on the 3rd floor.
Call it seemingly morbid curiosity, but what's the longest a patient's been here?
Some patients have been here for a number of years. There are some folks who, unfortunately, due to their condition, are probably likely to remain residents of the 3rd floor, possibly for the rest of their lives. Obviously, that's not a mentality that we have. That's not what Dr. Dallon is trying to espouse as our sort of general ideology, but there are some individuals here that are here because they were perpetrators of violent crimes. There are some folks here who are suffering from extreme psychosis and other mental illnesses, and reaching a point of stability where they would able to return to what we would consider a normal lifestyle is probably impossible, but that's not necessarily what we're going in here as. We're trying to take care of people the best way we can. there are some people who have been here for a number of years. I don't know anyone who's been here for more than maybe 5 years. But there are some longer term patients, of course.
Are they all adults, children, veterans?
Yes, everyone here. And you see her kind of think back and forth. We have a few folks around the age of 18, probably, but almost everyone here. This is an adult facility. There might be one or two special cases, I believe, but for the most part, should be adults. Other questions?
What do you what's the cost for a patient to stay here?
It is not something we normally discuss. If you don't mind, that would be a question that I would prefer if Dr. Dallin chooses to disclose to you. It is a... What do I want to say here? I'm looking for a word that's private matter, but private company matter. It's not something she really wants to disclose. It's...
Confidentiality?
Yeah, she sort of... It's a confidential thing. Some folks are wards of the state. Some folks no longer are... have the mental recognizance to do this. Some folks have family. Some folks are here on sort of grants or stipends or other assistance. So it does vary.
Do you offer those stipends?
No, usually those are it's usually the method of payment for those folks, not necessarily our cost per se. Changing.
Oh, gotcha. Do you accept Medicare, Medicaid?
Aflac. She gives you a look when you say that. Sorry.
Should I Humint?
What's your Humint?
It is 60.
Yeah, let's roll it.
Oh, crit fail.
Yeah, whatever you want to take from that.
I just say nice.
Do any of these? Do your patients get visitors, or are they sort of here?
It's we do get some visitors. It depends. There are some patients who will receive family visits, legal counsel. Sometimes we'll bring some visitors in for sort of morale purposes, enjoyment, perhaps helping them reconnect with the world outside the Dorchester House, so they're more acclimated to a stereotypical environment. It sort of depends. It's not a very large facility in terms of total number of patients, so not too many visitors.
Well, sorry to cut you off. So no personal visits then typically, or
there are some. It just sort of depends patient to patient.
Is it something that's like, I mean, is also something, because you said the people on the first floor are one of the ones that are working towards their way out. Yeah,
correct.
So I assume that those are probably more applicable to see visitors than people on the higher floors.
Yes, that's a fair assessment.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir. Did you have a question, Deacon?
No.
Deacon Jones, so I can think of.
What we noticed on the way in, you have, extensive security, which, makes sense considering, the individuals you're dealing with. Have you ever had issues with people escaping, getting out into the yard? Do you allow people out of the building?
It's fairly rare for anyone who's not on the first floor to get grounds privileges. It's fairly unusual.
But not unheard of.
In terms of ground privileges, or in terms of having issues with patients?
The second. Were you just talking about?
I was just talking about ground
gotcha,
privileges.
Gotcha.
Yes. This is the first time I've been here for a number of years, and this is the first time I've ever known any. And she gets a weird look on her face, as if she's searching for the words, and she just decides on issues.
I mean, it would be hard to imagine that you wouldn't see or notice that 4 people went missing.
And before she gets a chance to respond, you sort of have now gotten to the 3rd floor, and as you've gone up, you've kind of looked in the windows and stuff and seen some patients moving up and down the stairs. The 1st floor didn't feel very lived in. The 2nd floor more so. The 3rd floor, you can see the more extreme security in terms of doors and kind of the bulletproof safety glass and stuff like that. She leads you down the hall to an office, and she sort of taps on the door, and you hear a booming male voice say, yes, Dr. Dallin, your appointment is here. Oh, yes, send them in.
Side note, in our research before looking up the grounds and stuff, Was there any inner like fencing, like besides the brick wall around? Was there any other areas that were like fenced in?
No.
Okay.
You don't get the sense that they are probably moving around all that much. You get the sense that most people at the Dorchester House are seeking care in the facility. They're probably not moving around the grounds.
Well, just her comment about possibly the people on the first floor, like, would still, what ways do you have to keep those people corralled besides, like, that brick wall?
Yeah, you wouldn't see anything obvious. As you step into, sorry, I'm jumping back and forth. I just put in the notes an image of Dr. Dallin. You see a very nicely appointed office. It faces east. You see a stunning view since you're on the third story of the Neponset River, I believe is how you pronounce it. Dr. Dallin is
French? It's not a French, not a French pronunciation for that? That sounds strange.
No, I assume it's a river in Boston. Neponset. Neponset.
It's not Neponset.
No.
Probably.
It's probably Native American, I would imagine.
I guess that's possible.
You see he is a tall, burly, balding Caucasian man. Gray, curly hair. He's got a receding hairline. Long beard and mustache. He has oversized glasses. He seems to wear these oversized black, thick glasses, suspenders, slacks, short sleeve button down. Sometimes he wears a Boston Red Sox windbreaker, it says. And he's always wearing sneakers. He's a towering man. He's like probably 6'3", 6'4". So as he stands up from behind the desk, he is a very large man with a booming voice.
It's your typical mad scientist.
I don't know that I would call mad scientist, but he has a very warm affectation as soon as he speaks.
Was it Gail was her name?
Yeah, Gail Houston.
Before she slips away, I would pull her aside and ask her if there were any veterans that I could visit.
Yes, we do have several veterans. Dr. Dallin would probably be the one who would, do those introductions or something. But yes, we do have several veterans here in residence.
I just nod and enter.
So his office looks like a classic English study with wooden floor and a beautiful stone fireplace. The desk is almost comically thin and reedy, of French design compared to the massive stature of Dr. Dallin. Floor-to-ceiling shelves are on every wall filled with books, including an unbroken run of American Journal of Psychiatry dating back to 1983. One corner of the room contains a large, custom-made glass and velvet display case with little lights that drop a tiny spotlight on what appear to be rocks.
Rocks or geodes?
It's hard to say. It's in the corner of the room away from you, but it seems to be a several-tiered shelf, like sort of velvet plush cushions with these little lights coming down.
Oh, it's the IKEA Detolfs, for sure.
For sure. But this massive bearded man with the receding hairline over thick glasses, suspenders, slacks. Yes, please, come in, sit. I'm Dr. Richard Dallin. I'm assuming that the group sent you, yes?
Your guess would be correct.
Good.
So, that means you know why we're here, then.
I give him the Zoltan symbol. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, I am familiar with the group's activities for a long time. What do you agents need to know?
Suppose for starters, the 4 that went missing, who are they? Why were they here?
Yes. Here. Probably easiest to do this. And it looks like he was prepared for this. He reaches into the desk and pulls out a file and tosses it on the table. Here's some preliminary background information, medical records in terms of what we were doing, sort of some general information. I think this will be beneficial in the beginning stages of what you're doing.
Our title track and additional musical arrangements were provided by friend of the podcast, Ian Shannon. Find more of his work at sleepfortheweary.com. Like what you heard? Check out more episodes online at rancorsbrothel.com or the Rancors Brothel on Facebook. You can also interact with other listeners at the Fans of the Rancors Brothel Facebook page. Want to contact us? Reach out to @Rancors_Brothel on Twitter or via email at therancorsbrothel@gmail.com. most of all, keep circulating the tapes. Much love, everyone.